From a phone number that you don't want to get stuck with to a look that could actually kill, here are 5 curses you should pray don't find you this year. Number 5 on this list is the curse of the Scottish play. Ah yes, Macbeth, one of the finest pieces of writing for the stage that our world has ever even seen. A play that actually just had a very recent movie adaptation starring Denzel Washington come out. A play that, even though it's one of the most famous and most studied in all of history, has had a very troubling past. Many have died or been injured or had other various misfortunes fall upon them while they were working on it. It all started with the first performance that this play ever had many hundreds of years ago. It's believed that the boy who was cast in playing Lady Macbeth right before going on stage fell horribly ill and died. This forced Shakespeare himself to come out and have to play the famous role. This tragic death was the first of many strange and sad occurrences to happen to those performing this play. King James I actually banned this play for a short while, not necessarily due to the bad luck, but because he was so disgusted with all the horrific violence that took place in it. The play was eventually allowed to come back, and the one who got it the worst was Lady Macbeth. From getting chased out of theaters because the audience actually believed her to be a killer, to falling off a 15-foot tall stage during a sleepwalking scene, to getting literally strangled to death on stage by another actor, Lady Macbeth has taken the brunt of the unlucky blows during the years. A particularly crazy incident happened in 1849 where the entire audience believed the play so much that they actually broke into a full-on riot where 30 people were killed. Then from the 1930s to the 1950s, there were several instances of big budget productions of the show going totally wrong. In a 1942 production of it, 3 actors died during the run and the costume designer took their own life directly after opening night. If you happen to be performing or working on the Scottish play this year, then just pray that this curse doesn't happen to find you and your production. Number 4 on this list is Mal de Ojo. The Mal de Ojo, or Evil Eye Curse, is one of the most common in Latin America. This curse has affected thousands of people throughout its day and is definitely one that you want to avoid if possible. The problem is, you can't really do anything to stop it from happening. In fact, this is a curse that will get put on you either intentionally or accidentally from someone else. Its origins can be traced all the way back to 1500 BCE. The way that the curse can get put on you is from someone's gaze. A particularly focused and narrowed vision on someone else when one is manifesting horrible and negative thoughts. Concentrating this level of energy on someone is capable of cursing them with the Mal de Ojo curse. This curse can also happen on a newborn baby if one is to look upon the baby with deep-seated jealousy, but this is rare and doesn't happen as often. The effects of this curse are similar to some of the other most common ones in our world. Overwhelmingly horrible bad luck. There are a few cures for this curse that have popped up over the years, but they're certainly rather strange. The weirdest one is where you take an actual egg and you rub it all over your forehead. The idea is that the egg is so new and innocent that it will cleanse your body of all the negative juju that's been placed upon you. Alternatively, if you don't want to be picking yolk out of your hair, you could always wear a variety of talismans or perform some cleansing rituals to heal your body of the spirit. Hopefully you don't rub someone the wrong way this year and can avoid the evil eye curse for good. Number 3 on this list is 0888 888 888. Okay, so a little bit of an unconventional entry on our list, but this is a series of numbers that you just do not want to be associated with. As you probably guessed, this is a phone number, and one that has actually been suspended based on the horrible tragedies that have been connected with it. This next passage was written in an actual newspaper that was detailing the horrifying events related to this number. Express Web Desk writes, the first owner of the number was the CEO of the issuing company Mobitel himself, Vladimir Grashnov. Reportedly, he died of cancer in 2001. According to Mail Online, his cancer was rumored to have been caused by a business rival using radioactive poisoning. The number was then taken up by a mafia man named Konstantin Dimitrov, who was also killed in 2003 by an assassin in the Netherlands, where he'd gone to inspect his 500 million worth drug empire. Reportedly, he was gunned down by Russians mafia who were jealous of him. It's also said that he had a phone with him when he died. The third man who took up the number was businessman Konstantin Dishlev, who was killed in 2005 in Bulgaria's capital Sofia, reportedly outside an Indian restaurant. Mail Online reported that Dishlev was also running a cocaine trafficking operation. The case on his killing is still open. So that's absolutely just messed up. Not only did this phone number get connected to a bunch of deaths, but it also has deep ties with the underground mafia. Since all of this news broke, people sort of lost their minds and realized that this phone number has to be cursed. That's why the phone companies took it off the grid and haven't given it out since all this happened. That being said, enough time has passed that I could see them bringing it back. If you're gonna get a new phone this year, then make sure you request any number that isn't that one. Number 2 on this list is the lethal MacGuffin. So a MacGuffin, according to Google if you didn't know, is an object, device, or event that is necessary to the plot and motivation of the characters, but insignificant, unimportant, or irrelevant in itself. This device is used all the time in stories, and sometimes we don't even realize it. Sometimes it's used in stories as an omen of something morbid. In the story All Quiet on the Western Front, there's a pair of rubber boots that keeps getting passed from soldier to soldier. In the story, the symbolism of this is that a pair of good boots is actually more valuable than a human life. However, on the outside looking in, it becomes clear that whoever inherits these boots immediately dies after getting them. Something similar in Saving Private Ryan happens with a letter, and we've seen this translate to real life as well. The Basano vase, for instance, is an ancient and cursed object that keeps getting passed from person to person in the family that owns it, and once it gets passed on, it brings on horrible luck or even death to those that inherit it. We have to hope that something like this doesn't find us this year. If somebody dies in your family, for instance, which would be horrible in its own right, so let's hope that that doesn't happen, but if they did, and they left something behind to you, then just pray that this thing doesn't hold any potential curses on it. The sad truth is that the same fate could happen to you if it does. Number 1 on this list is a broken mirror. You've all heard the rumors before, if you break a mirror, then the next 7 years will give you bad luck. That's a pretty horrible consequence for just breaking a thing that shows off your reflection. But where did this whole thing come from, and is this a curse that could actually find you this coming year? Well, the University of South Carolina writes, the Greeks believed that one's reflection on the surface of a pool of water revealed one's soul. But it was Roman artisans who actually learned to manufacture mirrors from polished metal surfaces and believed their gods observed souls through these devices. To damage a mirror was considered so disrespectful that people thought it compelled the gods to rain bad luck on anyone so careless. Around the 3rd century, mirrors were being made from glass and breakage became a lot more commonplace. But the Romans did not believe that the ensuing bad luck would last forever. They believed that the body renewed itself every 7 years. This is pretty interesting because the body actually does renew itself every 7 years, since all of your cells after 7 years will be completely different than they were 7 years ago. But still, 7 years is a long time to have to deal with bad luck. If you do happen to break a mirror and you want to speed up the process of this bad luck, then there are a couple things that you could do to help yourself. First thing is to gather up all the broken pieces of the mirror, making sure that you get all of them and don't leave any slivers behind. Then take those pieces and do one of 3 things with them. You can either dig a hole and bury them in the moonlight, never to be touched again. You can take all the pieces and throw them into running water, preferably a stream or river. Or finally, you can touch a tombstone with the broken pieces of glass. All 3 are said to reverse your bad luck and stop it from haunting you for 7 whole years. Fingers crossed that you avoid breaking a mirror altogether though, and don't need to worry about the next 7 years being a rough one. Well, there you have it guys, that is our list of the top 5 real curses you should pray don't find you this year. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this list and some other potential curses that you're worried about. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I'll catch you next time.